So I'm Matthias Brenzinger, and I'm worked all my life on endangered languages and with communities also to revitalize, and I'm going to talk about language maintenance and revitalization in Africa. So when we talk about language maintenance on this continent, we talk about 1/3 of the world's languages, which is about 2,000, and about 300 to 400 are currently in the process of losing speakers and are therefore under pressure. The pressures on those languages are external and internal. External pressures are government policies which don't favor multilingualism and force minorities to adjust to national languages, dominant languages. There is economic pressures which are outside pressures, where poverty is one of the big problems on the continent, where people adjust and give up their own languages because for economic benefits. And then the internal pressures are social changes in this, the losing of community bonds, where mixed marriages are one of the major problems for languages, where in mixed marriages usually the dominant languages then is the home language, and the smaller languages, the minority languages, are abandoned. There is also a low self-esteem among many of the minority speakers of minority languages, and for that they tend to, if there is any chance for them to improve their social status, to shift to dominant languages. So these are external, internal pressures. When we talk about language maintenance and revitalization, we usually understand with revitalization efforts to maintain the language by community members. This revitalization addresses two different aspects. One is language competence. So languages disappear by people getting less and less competent in the language. So this is one aspect of revitalization which needs to be addressed in those efforts. And the other one is language use. The language is used less and less in less domains. So very many of those small languages are only used at home, very often only with the elder family members, and no longer in public domains. And so that language revitalization also has to address the language use and the status of languages. That means languages which are not recognized by governments, which are not used in formal education. So this would be then status and use in language revitalization. So the question whether can languages be revitalized and can be answered by saying that it has to be an initiative from the community, and the community has to be interested, of course, and run these efforts. They could be supported by linguists, for example, where materials are produced for teaching the language, and where political status is claimed. So for that, NGOs could support those communities. Then material, there is often an argument that oral languages don't need to be taught with written material, so introducing orthographies is not necessary. But in modern times, in more recent times, there are many efforts which prove that written materials actually are important and essential. First of all, to overcome the the strange ideas which many communities accept, that their languages are not real languages because they're not written, not standardized. And second, many languages are no longer acquired at home. So they are acquired in community efforts. For example, Khilmet, this is a book which, together with Sheena Shah, a colleague in Cape Town, a former colleague in Cape Town, we produced this book, a reader for teaching Ngu, which is a language which is spoken by only 4 people and taught by this Katrina Esau. And we produced this reader in high quality because we were asked to do that by the community. And this book proves to be a very important incentive for young people, and also for the older community members now to engage and to relearn and reacquire the language. The languages, the two questions I would pose is, what is lost when languages get lost? And the other one is, are we on the track to to a monolingual world?